Okay, this video tutorial looks at the mathematical strand of patterns and algebra, and more specifically, we're going to focus on factorisation. Okay, so what is factorisation? Well, basically, factorisation is a way of putting brackets into an expression. Okay, so it's essentially the opposite of expansion. And in this particular case, we're looking at the opposite of the distributive law. We basically factorise by finding a common factor. So something common between all of the terms. And once we have that, we put that common factor outside of the brackets and then we leave everything else inside. So if we can look at our example of 3a minus 9, we know that 3a is essentially 3 multiplied by a. And we know that minus 9 is actually minus 3 times by 3. Therefore, we can see that we have a factor of 3 and 3. Okay, there's a factor of 3 in each of the terms. We take that common factor out the front, and then we put whatever's left over back in the brackets. And in this particular case, we've got 3 outside, bracket, a take 3, end bracket on the inside. Okay, so we're going to have a look at some example questions where you need to simplify by factorisation. In our first example, you can see that we actually have a common factor of a in both terms, but we also have a common factor of 2 in both terms. So we're going to put 2a out the front, and our first bracket inside is going to be 2a because 2a times 2a gives me 4a squared. And I'm going to put minus 1 also in the brackets because 2a times by minus 1 gives me minus 2a, which I had at the start. Our next example, we can see that the common factor would be 5. So we put a 5 outside, and in the brackets we have a plus 4, because in that case, if we expanded the brackets out again, we would end up back at 5a plus 20. And our last example, we can see that we've got minus 6a take 15. Well, we have a common factor of minus 3. All right. Therefore, we're going to have 2a as our first term, and we're going to have positive 5 as our second term inside the brackets. Okay, so let's have a look at our first expression here. Now we can rewrite this first expression a little bit differently, where instead of we having bracket x take 1 bracket all squared, we can actually write it as x take 1 multiplied by x take 1, and then we're going to take away 2 lots of x take 1. If we write it this way, it's easy to see that we have a common factor here and here. So we can then take out that common factor and have x take 1 out the front, and then whatever's left over, which I'll underscore in green, all right, we can put inside the brackets. So that becomes x take 1 take 2, and that gives us a factorisation of x take 1 bracket x take 3, close bracket. In our second example, we're going to try and look for something a little bit different as well. We can rewrite this again as x plus 4 bracket x plus 4. And we're going to take away 2 lots of x plus 4. You can see that I've factorised the second term, so the second part of the expression, which is the minus 2x take 8. And now you can see again that we have a common factor of x plus 4. So we can write x plus 4 out the front, and that leaves us with x plus 4 minus 2, which then simplified would have x plus 4 out the front, and that would leave us with x plus 2 in the second bracket. Okay, what's going to happen now is you're going to use the information that we've talked about in this video tutorial to answer some practice questions. They're going to come up very soon, so when you see them, if you could pause the video, have a go at them, and when you think you've got them correct, go to the last slide and we'll go through the answers. Okay, so as stated, here are the practice questions. If you'd like to pause the video, have a go at them, and we'll go through the answers on the last slide. Okay, so let's go through the answers and we'll see how you go. First question, the common factor that we need to take out would be 2. So we would end up with 2 bracket 2a minus 1. In our second question, Okay, so this is part B. We're looking at a common factor of 4. I might actually use a common factor of minus 4. All right, that would give me 3a plus 1 in brackets. You could have had a common factor of 4, and that would have given you minus 3a minus 1 inside the brackets. In part C, the common factor is going to be a 3. All right, so that leaves a squared plus 2a take 3, all in brackets. In part D, again, if you wanted to use the same technique we've used in the video, we're going to rewrite this as x take 2 bracket x take 2, take 2 lots of x take 2. You can now see that x take 2 is the common factor. So that comes out the front, and we're left with x minus 2 in our second bracket, and when we simplify that, we end up with x take 2, x take 4. And the last question, you can see that this second part here, we need to factorize first. So using the same method we have throughout the video, we can write x take 4 bracket x take 4, take 5 lots of x take 4, and we can see now that we're going to have x take 4 as our common factor out the front. So bracket x minus 4 bracket x minus 4 minus 5. That gives us a simplified answer of bracket x minus 4 bracket x minus 9 as our answer.